Alright. What's up, guys? So this video I'm going to be going over how to build a Onshape name tag, and throughout the video it's a step-by-step tutorial, and I'll try to cover a lot of the tools that you need to build 3D objects in Onshape, and I'll do extra projects like a keychain holder or a backstand for your name tag, so you kind of get a better sense of a lot of the unique tools that Onshape has to offer. And when you're learning about these tools, I definitely recommend also building your own ideas to your name tag and not necessarily following the tutorial step by step, so you can end up with a unique name tag from mine. This is just kind of like a baseline to give you a sense of the tools and like an example, but I would definitely watch it and kind of go at your own pace and also build your own unique things as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So this screen that you guys are looking at right now, it's the home screen for Onshape, and whenever you sign in, this should be what you're looking at. So in order to create a part, we want to go to create and top left and then documents. So you can call this whatever you want. I'm going to say Kai test. And this is where whenever you create a part or any 3D object, this is where you start. So right away we see that there's a front, it says front, top, and right. So these are each planes. And what they do is whenever creating a 3D part, you start by creating a 2D sketch. So each of these planes is a place where you can create a sketch, and I'll show you what I mean by creating a sketch on the front plane. So first I'm going to center the front. So in the top right there's a dice, and if you click on front, it should center it. And I'm going to go to sketch in the top left, and it'll say select a sketch plane. So I'm going to click on the front, and now I'm creating a 2D sketch on the front plane. So up here we see there's now a toolbar and with a bunch of shapes, and for my name tag I'm going to use a rectangle, but you guys can use whatever shapes you want. For following along with the tutorial, a rectangle may be the easiest because you can see what I'm doing, but feel free to experiment with what shapes you want to do. So I'm going to click once for a rectangle, drag, and then click again. And I'm going to click off of the rectangle, and we see that this shape is a little bit bigger than I want my name tag to be. So in order to do dimensions, the best tool for that is the dimension tool up here. And this tool, if you click on it and then click on a side of your rectangle or whatever shape you're building, it'll tell you exactly how long it is in inches. So I want my rectangle to be 3 inches long, my name tag to be 3 inches long. So I'm going to change that one to 3, and then I want the width to be 1 inch. So I'm going to change that to be 1 inch. So now if you right click, you can scroll around. So I'm going to look, and we see now that I have this 2D sketch on this 3D plane. So if I go back to front, how do you make this 3D? The easiest way to make any sketch 3D is called the extrude tool. So the extrude tool, if you click on it, it'll automatically highlight your sketch that you have. And it says right here that it gave it a depth of 1 inch. So if I right click and scroll, on a touchpad it might be 2 fingers, you can see that it gave it a 1 inch height or depth. For my name tag, I'm going to do 0.3 inches, just so it's not too chunky or anything. But that's a preference. You guys can mess around with the depth and figure out a size that is good for you. So I'm going to click check, and now we have our 3D shape. So this is starting to look like a name tag, but we have to put our name on it. So I'm going to create another sketch, and this time instead of creating the sketch on the front plane, I'm actually going to create it on the front of the name tag, because that's where I want to put my name. So I'm going to click the front of the name tag, and then I'm going to go, and this text key, this is the best tool for creating texts on any object or any shape that you're using. So I'm going to click once, just like a rectangle, and then click again. And we'll see this pop up. I'm gonna do Kai, and you can put your name or whatever you want your name tag to say here. And I'm gonna do mine bold, so it's like bubble letters, which will be easier to see. And then you can also change the font on this drop down. So I'm gonna click check, and we see my name popping up here. I'm gonna recenter it, and if you want to make your name bigger, for example, longer names will be defaulted bigger than this size. Then you can go to dimensions, and you can click on the length or the height, and mine right now is 1.8 inches. So if, say, I wanted to make it a little bit smaller, I could say 1 inch, and then I would just have to resize. But in this case, I'm going to keep it at 1.8 inches. Okay, so we have our name on our name tag. How do we make it 3D? So again, I'm going to use the same extrude tool. I'm going to click extrude, and it'll do the same thing. We could do the same thing as last time. We could say 0.3 inches and kind of have our name coming out of our name tag, which is a pretty cool effect actually. If we do like 0.1 maybe, it'll be a little bit more casual. But I'm going to show you guys another technique that you can use, which is called the remove function. So if you click remove, instead of, you see it says add up here, then what it'll do is it'll go inside of your name tag, and it'll actually carve out material into your name tag. So I'm going to click check to see so you guys can see what I'm saying. This will actually take material out of your name tag and kind of give that inscribed look. And if you want to edit any of these, by the way, that you created, all you do is you double click and you can go back to editing it. Say I wanted to go for 0.3 inches. So this is how thick it is. So now it's going all the way through my name tag, which is a look you can also go for. However, because I have an A in my name, this A, this middle part, is left floating. And we see down here in the parts, this is one complete different part, and this is one complete different part. So when these are printed in, like on a printer, the middle here is not going to be attached, and it'll just fall out of your name tag. So for the case of my name, I'm going to just do a depth of 0.2 inches on my remove, so it doesn't go all the way through, and this has something to hold on to. So yeah, this is kind of the basics of how to build a name tag, and feel free for sure to pause, to rewind, catch up, and we went over how to sketch, how to extrude, but now I want to add on to my name tag and kind of show you more advanced, intermediate, well, just more techniques on Onshape and make it even better. So the first thing I want to show you guys is the sketch. So when we're sketching, we have so far sketched on the front plane, and we sketched on the front of our name tag, but we can also sketch on other sides of the name tag as well. So I'm going to sketch on the top of the name tag, and I'm going to click the top so it is oriented, and now we're looking at the top. So we look at all these shapes we have here. We have circles. We can do a half circle. This is like octagon. It's a polygon, and you can do as many sides as you want. And we also have lines, and we have straight lines as well. I'm going to do a circle on my name tag, and actually what I want to do is I want to build a way for a keychain to attach to my name tag. So I'm going to, see what I did there? I went to the side and I just hovered my mouse until I see this square. And that square means that it's in the middle of that line. And then I drag straight out, and you see this dotted line. So that means if I click and start my circle, this circle is in the middle of the middle of the width of my rectangle. So now if I click again, I have this circle, and it is centered. And what I want to do with this is I can extrude, But we also see that I have a revolve option. So what this is I'm going to click on it, this circle. It says faces, I have the circle, the sketch clicked, and it says revolve axis. So what this revolve axis is it'll move it around a line. So say I click this line, we see it goes 360 degrees around this line as like the midpoint. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna click check, and the no keychain or anything is gonna be able to fit through here. So I'm gonna go back to my sketch, double click, and I'm actually gonna push this circle further. Okay, so that's if I click on the outer of the circle, it'll change the diameter. But if I click on the middle of the circle, I'll be able to move it further away. So if I move it out more, this will make my keychain holder a little bit bigger. And now I can use this to put a string through. So that is what the revolve function does. And let me show you guys another technique. So I'm going to show you this one, fillet. So this is very important whenever you're building parts, because you don't want sharp edges in some scenarios, because one, it can be like a hazard, but also a professional look usually doesn't have as many sharp edges. Most will sand it down or fillet it. So in this case, on 3D, we have the fillet option, and it says entities to fillet. So what we can do is we can take a sharp side and click on it, and it'll give it a curve. So this curve, the severity, if we drag this, we see the radius changes. So this is actually a circle, and then how much it curves is based on how big the radius is. So I'm going to say 0.1 inches, and that'll give it a smaller curve. So I'm actually going to do this individually. I'm going to click each of these, and we see that it gives my name tag this like professional looking finish. Okay, here's an issue though. The curve is actually going into my name, so I'm just going to make the radius half as big. So now it's a smaller curve, but it doesn't interfere with my name. So you can just go around and click on all of these sharp edges, and now if I click check, I have a smooth finish on my name tag. Another thing you can do is you can do a back stand. So I'm going to show you guys how to do a stand for your name tag. If you go into the sketch option, this time I want to sketch on the back of my name tag because I want the stand to be on the back. So I'm going to click this sketch, and because it's 2D, the first thing I want to do is I just want to sketch how the back stand is going to look. So I want my back stand, the shape of it, to be a diamond. So I'm going to do the inscribed polygon, and again I want to center it to the middle of my name tag. So I'm going to drag my cursor onto the side. I'm going to drag down until this square pops up, and that means that it's in the middle of my name tag, and then I'm just going to drag straight out until I see that dotted line. If you accidentally go too high and it disappears, you can just go back, and then I'm going to click. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to click again. So now we see this number. So whenever I move my mouse, it tells you how many shapes it is. I want it to be a diamond, so I'm going to do 4 sides. Actually, this is a square because each side is the same. So actually I'm going to do a square, but for the sake of this example. But say you can't get 4 to actually work, you can go back and double click this number and then type in however many sides you want. So I'm going to go back to 4. I'm going to do a square, and I can, let's see, I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Oh, I made a mistake there. I accidentally clicked instead of dragging out. So what you can do if you do this is you can go back to your original shape, click it again, it'll disappear, and then you can just go again. So I'm going to find the middle here, drag it out, and then I'm going to click, drag it out, click, and then I'm going to do 4 sides. There we go. So I want these to be the same size. So I'm going to go to my dimensions tool that I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to just set the length of one side. I'm going to say 0.3 inches. There we go. And I see that this one's a little bit crooked. Actually, they both are. I want to angle it a little bit differently, and dragging it like this can, you can eyeball it, but what I want to do is I want to make this perpendicular. So I'm going to actually show you how to use tools. So we see here it says vertical. So nothing on my rectangle I actually want to be vertical or horizontal because I want them to all be at an angle. So I'm actually going to add another line to my rectangle, and I'm going to click construction. So what a construction line is, it's a dotted line, and it means that it's not going to affect the shape at all, because if I don't do a construction line, if I just did a line, it would cut my rectangle, it would cut my square in half, and then whenever I try to build it, it'll only build half at a time. But if I use, I'm going to go back, but if I use a construction line, now it's still one full square, because the construction is kind of like the program ignores it. So now I'm going to click this line, and I'm going to click vertical. So now it's straight up, and now it is perfectly at the angle I want. So that's a little trick, doing vertical on any part of your shape, and it will make it to the, it's more aesthetic, but I'm going to click the line again, and there we go. So yeah, now we have our 2 backstands, and what we could do is we can do extrude again and push it back, and then we can say 0.5 inches, and check. There we go. So now I'll have a little backstand for my nameplate as well as a keychain. So those are some Onshape techniques. We went through fillet, which is to make any sharp sides of your name tag, which reminds me, we can also fillet these if we want. It all depends on how you want it to look. But say I fillet this backside, it may just rest better on the table because it's not laying on one point, but rather a more curved part of the name tag. So yeah, I'm going to check that, and now we have the completed name tag. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any ideas of how you want to improve the name tag, add a comment down below, or if you're watching this in one of my classes, you can raise your hand and ask me personally, and we can work on that as well. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.